Whatever happened to the Vikings? Surely, you must have learned about this in school or read it somewhere. Thankfully, you will watch a video that answers that very question, because in this video, we'll be exploring the question that has you up at night. Whatever happened to the Vikings? Vikings, the pinnacle of strength, a bodybuilder's body inspiration, and a very captivating part of early history. Their plight to conquer and explore across the seas is a tale as old as time, literally. That's why before we dive into where they went, we need to know where Vikings even came from. Known as pirates, traders, raiders, settlers, and generally rough and tough dudes, Vikings came into history at around 800 AD until the 11th century. Vikings, who contrary to beliefs, are not a single race, but more of a group connected by ancestry and common goals, came mostly from Scandinavia and/or neighboring areas. The name Viking comes from the Old Norse word Vik, which means bay or creek, and formed the root of the word Vikinger, which means pirate. These bay pirates took on much larger waters than bays, however, as they journeyed away from their homeland. Some cite that overpopulation forced them to move, but one could also guess the wonders of the New World and the treasures that may lie were just too good to ignore. The earliest Vikings were on the quest for wealth, as Scandinavian furs were the Gucci or Louis Vuitton of their time, and were highly prized in trade. Those Vikings recognized this and set out throughout Europe, mostly in Dorestad and Quintovik on the continent and Hamwick, now Southampton, London, Ipswich, and York in England. It was through these journeys and trade that they learned more sailing techniques and made a few enemies along the way as they learned about the conflicts of the area and the wealth that inhabited the land. For the next several decades, Vikings found themselves taking part in a mirage of hit-and-run raids across Europe, including the British Isles, France, Germany, and northeastern England. These Vikings, mostly Norwegians at this time, preyed on local conflicts as they sailed the North Sea. Unlike other conquerors, the Vikings did not really respect religion nor royalty, as their armies raided monasteries and areas that surrounded them. As time continued into the 9th century, Vikings began to become more sedentary as many became farmers, merchants, and all in all, soaked up a bit of the simple life. However, this easier life was not without struggle, as parts of England began taking back their lost land. In other areas of Europe, Vikings continued their attacks, targeting areas in France and the infamous conquests in Iceland by Eric the Red. The settlements in Iceland brought forth a new uprising of Leif Erikson, Eric the Red's son, who led his followers to become the alleged first Europeans to discover North America. Yeah, you heard that right. Christopher Columbus, who sailed the ocean blue in 1492, might hold the number 2 spot at reaching the New World. After Leif Erikson led his fleet to locate the now friendly maple syrup headquarters, the Vikings moved into the second age of the Vikings, where, in the late 10th century, Harold Bluetooth, no, not that kind of Bluetooth, millennials, reigned over the powerful and newly Christianized Denmark. Here, the Vikings became stronger than ever before, with larger raids that were executed by royalty and targeted England and other coastlines in Europe. Bluetooth's son, USB port, we're just kidding, his name was Sven, gained power after his father died and managed to conquer the entire kingdom. However, in doing so, created a seemingly domino effect that led to the Vikings' demise. Back and forth, the throne was held by king after king, and that similarly the power the Vikings had was tossed back and forth. A descendant of Scandinavian settlers, William, Duke of Normandy, defeated the very last Viking king in the Battle of Stamford Bridge and was crowned King of England in 1066, effectively pushing the Danish Vikings and their traditional methodology out of power. In the events following, the Viking culture was falling out of style faster than leg warmers, payphones, and jeggings, and because of their now more religious kingdoms, their traditions of pirating and sailing seas were being adapted and reformed into the growing Christian European culture. Just like Blockbuster lost to Netflix, BlackBerry lost to Apple, and brick-and-mortar stores lost to Amazon, the Vikings and Viking culture fell out of style and were absorbed into whatever was most popular at the time, this being Christianity. They live on history and myth, displaying that no matter how strong and powerful something might be, there is always something out there that can swallow you whole or force you out of style. I hope you enjoyed our retelling of Vikings, Viking culture, and their ultimate demise. Now you can spread this newfound knowledge like the Vikings spread throughout Europe. Just maybe hold off on the violent battles. Since you can now sleep knowing the end of the Vikings era, maybe leave a like or comment down below. And make sure to subscribe so you can answer more of life's most spellbinding questions. We'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Why did I sound like Borat at the end there? I nailed that script and then I said it like Borat.